Hey guys, welcome to the Dark Arrows Reversed section of my Summer Direction Crochet Along. This is, of course, the overlay mosaic version. You can see all these tails on the side. That's the dead giveaway. We are on row 117 already. And if you've been following along with the other videos, you know that we have done chevron A, dark arrows, chevron A again. Then we switched it up, did a chevron B. Then we had some light arrows, chevrons B and A, and then this dark arrow's reversed. You can see my dark arrows here. It starts going this direction, and then these ones, if you had more, you would see that this one is a tail, right? So it goes this direction and then that direction. And then you can see on the light arrows, it's going this direction and then that direction, right? It's the opposite. This one is going to be like this, only it's going to be dark. So I don't know why I designed it that way. I do know why. It's a mirror image. When you fold your blanket in half, it mirrors this one. Other than that, I could have just done this again, then I wouldn't have to make another video, but I wanted the symmetry. I know from experience that a lot of you really like symmetrical things, so I tried to design it for my customers as opposed to being crazy like I usually am. So anyway, enough about that. If you are also following along, you will know that this is not necessarily considered a tutorial. This is a walkthrough of the pattern. If you have never done overlay mosaic crochet, you're going to want to start with a tutorial instead, because I'm not going to be explaining the stitches. I'm just going to be stitching them while I do the pattern. But I have other videos, so if you're lost, go check out my other videos. And if you haven't done the rest of this, you can mix and match if you want, or if you want to start at the beginning, find my other playlist, right? We, on row 117, are using our accent color. All of the sections, I think all of the sections start with accent colors, except for the foundation rows. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that one. I don't know. I just say things, and I just don't know if I'm actually telling the truth this time. This one is our accent color. We start with our joining stitch, of course. Then we have one single crochet, one double crochet, and two single crochets. If you're using stitch markers to keep track, this is where you'd put it. Then we are going to be doing the repeats between the stars. This one you don't really have to count. It's all single crochets. They're all, of course, in the back loop because this is mosaic. And if you wanted to count them, there's 18 before the repeat, but I don't count when there's that simple repeat of the same thing over and over again. I guess sometimes I do count, but mostly for this kind of thing, I don't count. I just use the visual cue of getting to my border lines, because I have these straight lines of dark, light, dark, and then the other side dark, light, dark. I just keep going until I finish making the borders look pretty, and then I know that's enough. Oh, there's a fly in here. He's really bothering me. We had people over today, so the door got open 100 times, and we had like 3 or 4 flies in the house. I thought we got them all. I'm bad at catching flies. So this would be your star. You don't really need to know for this one, because we're just going to be doing, we did our joining stitch, single, double, 2 singles, then you could count them 18 if you wanted. And then right above this purple one is the last outside of the star, single, double. Then we have a single and an end stitch, so don't lose your stitches. That's how we do it. I even still have my fancy dress on. It's not that fancy, just like a nice outdoor dress, but it feels weird. Normally I do these videos just wearing whatever I happen to be wearing. And today I still got my fancy clothes on. I guess you can see my sweater. Look, my fancy sweater. So fancy over here. We are on row 118, starting with our joining stitch. I'm going to have the brackets telling us to do a double, of course, in the front loops down there, a single, and a double. Like I mentioned earlier, if this is new to you and you're like, what is she doing? Find a different video, because that's not the point of this one, okay? Double, single, that's the brackets. Then the star is telling us to do single crochets again. So all that's changed is the border lines, because now we're using the purple. We had to put 2 doubles instead of 1 in the middle, right? And we are near the end of the blanket, so I'm hoping you figured that sort of thing out, that makes sense to you. But I know that there's there's probably someone out there who says, nope, I didn't figure that out. I really like to watch the videos so that I know exactly what's going on. I need you to tell me every stitch that I'm doing, because this is just a little bit too hard for me to keep that kind of, I don't know, is it technical information? To keep doing the stitches and remembering whether they go drop down or single crochets. You know, we all have different skill levels. We all have different amount of time that we've been crocheting, and there's so many reasons why you could say, you know what, Ashley, I didn't figure that part out. So I don't mean it to be offensive. I just mean, I hope you're not super lost by this point, because if you've done this whole blanket feeling super lost, man, oh man, that must be stressful. Why do you crochet if it's so stressful? Okay, now I'm gonna have to delete all my words because they're all rude. We are on row 119. Our accent color, because it's an odd number row, odd numbers use our coordinating color or accent color, contrasting color, whatever you happen to be calling it. We have brackets this time saying do single and double. And then we do it again, single and double. Then that starts our star. We're going to put 15. We'll count it this time. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 single crochets before we have our drop down. Now remember, it is sometimes hard to find that one when there's nothing else to give you a clue. So you can count 15 on the bottom, or purple ones, or however you do it. I guess if you're at the end of your blanket, you do have this to guide you, but I'm assuming that you probably have more repeats, so this wouldn't be a good guide. We're just going to do double, single, double before the end of the star. And of course, if you were doing your repeats, then you'd have 15 again before you do double, single, double, 15, double, single, double, over and over and over till you get to your border. We're going to go single, double, single, and of course the end stitch. I seem to have more trouble getting into the first stitch. Sometimes I just want to skip the joining stitch and I go right into the first one, and then I have to take it apart. Row 120. We are moving right along. We are moving quickly. I hope you guys are able to keep up. I'm not sure, I don't know, I don't watch crochet walkthroughs, so I guess I should have done more market research, but I'm hoping that saying out loud what I'm doing, showing what I'm doing, maybe having the visual cues, just keeps you on the right track. We've got those brackets again telling us double, single, and then do it again, double, single. Then we're going to count 16 more single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we do have a visual cue this time. That 16th one goes right above this stitch here. And then we're going to drop it down right between those ones that we had just made. So that's your visual cue. Then we put another single crochet before you do your repeats again and again. And then we're just doing those border lines. So of course, with the purple one, it's got to be double, single, double. And stitch. Row 121, joining stitch. Then of course, because we're doing the light colors, single, double, and the brackets tell us to do it again, single, double. The star, if you want to put your stitch marker, you can. We're going to count 13 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we do dropping it down this double crochet, the blue loop that we're catching, if you count, this is the blue loop here, 1 and then 2, so it's the third one from the post. And then we're going to have 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then the double just goes right beside that purple one, and that's the end of the star, so you can do your repeats until you're done. Our border line, of course, is single, double, and single. Very boring border, but I like the way it really just makes the edges feel nice and straight, I guess, and helps me when I go to put my envelope border, I know where to pick. Row 122, joining stitch, then our brackets again are telling us to repeat this twice. Double single, double single. Then you have your star. My words are not lining up with my stuff. I'm trying to go too fast. Slow down, Ashley. Okay, star tells us to do single crochet 14 more times. So that's why the stitch marker can be helpful at the beginning of your repeats, because that single crochet is not included, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, I did a weird, my yarn again, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 is right on top of that blue double crochet from the row before. Then we have the brackets telling us we're going to do this twice. We're going to go double single, and then again, double single. And that's the end of your star. So you're going to do your repeats until you get to the end. Of course, now we're using purple, so we've got the end border is going to be double single double. And the end stitch to cut off our yarn to make those horrible tails that everyone just seems to loathe. They don't like the fringe. Seems to be the biggest deterrent to doing overlay mosaic, the cutting your yarn and having all these tails. We are doing 123, putting our joining stitch. Oops, my yarn is being silly again. Our border line goes single, double, and then they're telling us for this row it says single 2 more. So sometimes we have single, double. This time it's just got another single. Then it says the star is going to have 7 more singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to drop down. Now it's hard to find that spot because there's no clues to help you know where to go. So you can count these stitches, or you can find this that lines up. And then remember skipping that one in the back, which earlier today on a different project, that's where I had made a mistake twice in the same row. Really messed everything up. I had to pull things apart. So we did double 3, and then now this time dropping down again. So it's easier when there's only 3 to find your next loop. This one's a bigger long spot to count, and then here you'll see we picked up this loop, and then there's one missing, and then one right on top of that. So maybe the visual cues are helpful, I don't know. Now we're going to do 6 single crochet before the end of that repeating star or asterisk or whatever. 4, 5, and 6. Then because we're at the border, we're going to do single, double, single. And our end stitch, of course. Row 124, using our main color, join stitch, double, single, then the bracket says do it again, double, single. Then we're at our stars, so you could put your stitch marker here if you like. We're going to do double single 3 times. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and. So I think I mentioned in a different video that that's how I like to count it when the brackets are simple 1 1 1. There's too many ones in there to remember 1 1 1 1, right? So I just count them like that. Then we're going to have another double and 5 singles. 1, 2, oopsies, my yarn is being silly. 3, 4, and 5. So they really are right on top of those poles. And we have the brackets again for doing this 3 times. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and then that's the star. So you'd have 3 again. Make sure that it's not duplicated to like tell you that there's only 3. It's 3 plus 3, so there's 6. At our border line, of course, we're going to do double, single, double. And end stitch. Oopsie. Row 125 using our contrasting color, starting with our joining stitch, of course, like always. We're going to, oh, not yarn over, we're going to do single crochet, double crochet. Come on, sorry. And 2 more singles before our star. So our repeating section is going to add another 7 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have right above those, they're lining up. Oops, come along. Okay, what's going on here? 1 and a single and a double. It kind of goes in the middle. And then we're going to have 8 more single crochets. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what you got going on here. Then our border line is just going to be single, double, and single end stitch. Row 126. I did add my stitch marker every 20 rows is what I like. Whoopsies. There we go. So I'm putting my joining stitch on just like every other row. Then we're going to do double single, double single. 1 and 2 and that's where the star begins. So if you need to count them, we're going to do double single again, but 4 times this time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we have 1 more double crochet. Kind of what it is between the arrows. This is the point of the arrow, this is the other arrow. So then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Oh, my blue one got in there, silly blue. And then we have brackets again telling us to do it 3 times, this double single. 1 and 2 and 3, and that's the end of the star repeating section. So now we're just doing those border lines. Of course, we're going to be main color, so keeping them nice and straight just goes double single double. and the end stitch to cut everything off and keep it secure. Contrasting color, row 127, joining stitch, single, double, 2 singles. Then our star, our repeating, is going to have another 7 singles. It gets you to the end of this big chunk. It's really like the arrow, the body of the arrow instead of the point of the arrow. I don't know if it has a name. Maybe that'd be fun trivia. You know what the name of the back of an arrow is called? I don't mean like a bow and arrow. I mean the drawn arrows. This might have a name. Anyways, I was talking instead of counting, so I did too many. Single, double, single, 2. Then it says 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I did the right number. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to drop it down right at the end of that. Double. Then it has 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. And then we drop it again. Double with 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see what we're creating here if it matters to you. It looks like that. Our border is single, double, single. And the end stitch. Row 128, even number, means main color. Got our joining stitch. Then our brackets telling us to twice do double, single, double, single. Then the star begins and it tells us we're going to single crochet 8. See, I get sometimes ahead of myself. I was about to do a double crochet there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we have a double, single, double. And 3 single crochets. So we go 1, 2, 3. Then those brackets, it's telling us we only need to do it twice. So we go double, single, and then we repeat it. Double, single. And then the star is over. For me, you can do your repeats. I'm at the border. We're just going to go double, single, double, and an end stitch. Row 129. Oops, my yarn is being silly again. Actually, that's probably user error. That was probably me. Wasn't really my yarn. Anyway, joining stitch, then the brackets. This time it's going single double, which I don't know why. I always find that the double comes first in my brain. So the single double and then a single double sometimes confuses me. But that's the end of the star, or the beginning of the star, I mean, sorry. So we've got 13 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If you want a visual cue, you can see that we've made that bump of an arrow and it goes the top of here, 2, 3, the next one right before that, where we're going to put our 1 double crochet and then 3 singles again, and then our double crochet is going here before you do your repeats. And now we're at the border, so we're just going to go single, double, single. Row 130, using our main color, do our joining stitch, of course. The brackets are telling us double, single, times 2, Then we got our star telling us the repeating section. This time it's 6 in the brackets, double single times 6. So I'm going to count them my funny way again. I hope it doesn't confuse you. I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So hopefully you're not lost here, visual cue wise. Don't forget the and part of the brackets, right? Then it says double crochet 1, single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do one more double crochet and a single crochet before that star. So they look like they should be the same, right? So I hope the stars by now, especially, you've done a whole bunch of this. Hopefully you figured that part out, and having that instructions interrupted isn't been too harmful for you. Then of course we're on our border lines, double, single, double, and an end stitch. Okay. Row 131, joining stitch. And then our brackets telling us to repeat it. We're going to go single, double. Then we're going to go single, double again. Then our repeating star section begins with 15 single crochets this time. You can count them or you can use the visual cue. You know that you're getting to the end of that arrow. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so 13. If you see here, it's been doing the step up. We're going to keep going, so that gets us 14 and 15 before we do our dropped double crochet. It's also right at the border line of the other arrow. The arrows are pretty smushed together, hey? And we're going to do double, single, and a double to end that star repeating section. And I kind of got stuck there. There we go. And then of course you repeat all the way along the top of the arrow. When you get to your border, we're going to do single, double, single, and an end stitch. Aren't my scissors pretty? They're like little birds. They're very sharp and pointy. I always have to put them up really high so my kids don't grab them. And they are sparkly, so of course everybody wants to grab them. Row 132. We are really far in this project. It's amazing. I'm so proud of everyone who's been joining in and showing all the pictures in Facebook group, and I don't know, you can share it in not just my Facebook group but others as well, so it's kind of exciting seeing everything pop up. This row we started with those brackets that say double, single, double, single. Then we would put our star, and we're going to do it again 6 more times. So I'm going to count it in my funny way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and so I might have noticed it in a different video. I can't remember if I said it or not, but Mosaic Crochet often will have this all filled in. And the reason that mine has essentially polka dots in any solid section is because I draw the charts for Interlocking Crochet, and then you can just read those charts and do Mosaic. So I don't redraw my charts. You can fill it in if you like. It's up to you. It's your project if you want them to be filled in. It's not too hard if you know how to read the charts or if you understand the concept of where this should be solid. But if you are having troubles with it, I suggest you just read the pattern like I've written it. Just a suggestion. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet and 5 singles, and that's the end of the star repeating section. 4, 5. Then our border lines are just going to go double, single, double. And an end stitch right on the side. Row 133. Joining stitch, of course. Those are boring. That's okay. We do them anyways. Brackets saying times 2. We're going to go single, double. Then we're going to do it again. Single, double. Our star starts here. You can put your stitch marker. I just put that like right on here. That's how I do it. I don't know. As long as you know what your stitch marker says, you can put it wherever you like. Then we have 13 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we have our double crochet is going to drop down, double, and 3 singles. So we finally reached the point of that arrow. Now we're going to start going back. Of course, there's 1 more double crochet before the end of your repeating section. And then, of course, once you're at your border, we go single, double, single. I say of course a lot. I don't know why. Some days I just have words that come out of my mouth more often, and I'm not sure why. Oh, of course is the one that's happening today. These things aren't really of course. It's just that I've done them repeatedly for these short rows and made all these videos, and I have to say it so often. Double, single, double, single, double, single. Border lines, border lines. So I hope you don't feel like I'm just telling you should know all this. I just mean my voice is bored. Row 134. Joining stitch. I try to make it exciting. See, I'm so excited. I'm starting a new row. Then we have, in the brackets, times 2. 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet. Repeating it for the second double crochet and the second single crochet. Put your star if you need to. We're going to have 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will line up with the bottom here so that our arrow doesn't get wonky. We're going to go double, single, double, and then we have to do 7 single crochets. I find with a piece this skinny, these tails do kind of get in the way. And there is a few options to not have tails, but mine are just going to be cut and tied every row. We're going to do those 7 single crochets now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the end of your star repeating section, and now we're just doing the border, double, single, double, end stitch. Row 135, using our contrasting color because it's an odd row. Joining stitch goes under both loops, of course. Single crochet goes under the back loop. Double crochet drops down and uses the front loop of the row below. Then we have 2 single crochets and then our star. So if you need to count your repeating sections, then we're having another 7. So that'll be right to the tip of that arrow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The double crochet goes right beside that purple one. And then we have 3 singles again. 1, 2, 3. Drop down another double crochet. And we'll finish off our repeating section with 6 single crochets. So you'll actually have 13, but you'll be interrupting them with a stitch marker maybe. Or maybe you just know how to count that far. I don't know. Till you get to your border anyways. When we get to our border, we're going to add another single crochet, then the double, the drop down double, and then a final single crochet and the end stitch. Cut off your little tail. Row 136. We are getting close to the end of this section here, so we got joining stitch. I'm getting excited, I might rush. Oh dear, slow down. Double, single, double, single. Put your star marker if you need to. We're going to add another 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's only one double crochet. It's matching the bottom of here, right? So we have 1 double. Then we're going to count 9 single crochets again. If you have lots of repeats, it might be easier to use the visual cue. I don't know. I might count them. I might try something with lots of repeats again and see if I prefer to use the stitch marker or not. I think mostly I would find moving the stitch markers annoying, but I also don't have like 100. I wouldn't want 100 stitch markers everywhere. So I don't know. It's up to you how you do that. And of course, make sure that when you get to the end, you're going to keep that borderline double, single, double. And of course our end stitch, because I don't know why sometimes I forget that one. Hopefully on the video I don't ever forget. And then you guys can think I'm so perfect and amazing, and it'll be a lie. I'm not perfect, or maybe a little amazing sometimes. Row 137. Got our accent color, coordinating color, contrasting color. I call it all of them. Second color even. Put our joining stitch, do our border lines of single, double, and then 2 singles. Oops, my yarn's being weird. 1, 2. Then our star tells us we're going to do another 7 single crochets. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to have a double, single, double right on around that point of the arrow. Does it have a name? This part of the arrow have a name? Who's our trivia master? Somebody's going to trivia master me in the comments and say, that's a something something. And I'll be like, you win the prize name of trivia master. I don't have a real prize this time, sorry. We're going to do 8 more single crochets to get to the end of that repeat. You can count them, or you can just go do your repeats. Make sure you're following those little visual cues. And then our border, of course, because we're using that light color, we're going to have single, double, single, and stitch, just like so. Now, row 138, technically, we have finished those arrows. The arrows are full and complete. Row 138 and 139 and 140 are just making stripes. So the only difference is that when you're using your main color, the border lines have 2 double crochets. When you're using your accent color, there's only 1. Otherwise, it's all going to be single crochets in the back loop, of course, all the way across, because it's a stripe. So you can count them if you like. I know some people are skipping them entirely. They don't want extra stripes in between things. I do like the spacing, that's why I put them in there. And I don't care what you do with your project. So follow along with this or don't. I guess I make the YouTube video to be full and complete, so I'm going to keep doing them. That is my rules to myself. I want to have the videos be full and complete. So we've done rows that look exactly like this. They're just going to go all the way across. And I don't really have anything to entice you. I mean, maybe you really love my voice and you're like, oh, I could listen to her all day. And I'll be like, okay, go for it. I don't know. And I don't know. That's it. That's all I know. My brain is focused on, so excited to get these videos done and out. I have been working on this project for months, and that's probably normal for a crochet designer to put months into one project. But for me, I'm usually, I guess, last minute speedy worker. I don't know what to call myself. Anyways, you watched, did the singles, did the border, double, single, double, end. Oh, I didn't finish my end stitch. I only did the single crochet. I have to add that extra. It feels like you're going to chain, but then you cut it off and you pull it through, so it turns into a knot, right? So now we're going to get our contrasting color and do essentially the same thing, except for those border lines are just slightly different. I drew up this pattern like a long time ago, and then I figured out that because of the way the repeats are, I designed it on purpose so that the repeats would be easy for me to make videos of, or easy for people who are used to doing mosaic crochet. They seem to want a repeat of 12 or something, which mine obviously got a little bigger because it's 18 repeats plus some border edge things. And I thought that the inside repeats were more similar. I mean, I only have chevron and a chevron and some arrows, but then it turns out like I also have interlocking crochet and mosaic crochet, so that instantly doubles everything. And these arrows that are dark aren't the same as the arrows that are dark at the bottom, and then of course I have light arrows, so that put extra work into it. And then I didn't realize when I had designed it, but it makes sense, and I should have known, for interlocking crochet, which you guys probably don't care about, maybe you're not interested in interlocking at all, but in interlocking, because you flip your work, these chevrons, even though they look the same, I actually have chevron A, and then I have it starting at the wrong side or starting at the right side, because the instructions are completely different depending on which way you had to start it. So then I had extra videos for that. So this project kind of just exploded, and I was a little overwhelmed, and I tried to get things done quickly. I thought I could get it done by a certain date, and I missed that date. And then I thought I could get it done by a different date, and I missed that date. And I kind of been, nobody knows that I have these hidden deadlines, so nobody's upset with me, just me saying, why can't you be Superwoman and do everything all at once? And I really try to do everything all at once. If you've been following me on Facebook, you'll see I have always like a million things on the go, and I pop out patterns like they're going out of style because it's fun for me and I like it and I like to keep busy. But somehow this one has just taken a long time. But here we are. This is the final row in this section. It's row 140 if you've been following along. If you're mixing and matching, your row numbers will be off, but that's okay. I'm sure you can still figure it out. I know there's lots of clever people out there. We've done this sort of thing before. Just 2 rows ago, it's exactly the same. Double, single, double, and then 18 across for your repeating section. Oh, I guess it's double, single, double, single. So there's actually 19 in mine because I only have 1 repeat. If you had a bunch of repeats, you might not count. We already know that. And I will probably put a stitch marker every 20 rows, except for I like to wait until I'm doing the next row so that my yarn doesn't get tangled in there. So this will be a weird place for me to stop. No stitch marker, but it needs a stitch marker, but I can't keep going until I make the next video, right? Oh no, the next is chevron B. We've already got a video for chevron B, so that's okay. Easy peasy. I'll just do the next row right away. I'll cut the video off though. You don't need to watch me. You can go watch chevron B, the other video, if you want. Maybe you guys are like, these videos were a waste of time, Ashley. Why did you even bother? And I'll say, oh, sorry, it's out there now. Took up a lot of hours. But maybe some of you will be like, nope, I love them all. They're my favorite things ever, and you're my favorite designer ever, and I'm gonna buy $100 million worth of your patterns, and I'll be like, woohoo, party time. I don't really think anyone's watching this far. That is why I'm babbling. Someone's gonna watch this, and you have to comment and tell me you did watch it all, and you listened to all my babble, and you're embarrassed for me because I'm crazy. That's... So here it is. Chevron, no, what are we at? These are arrows, dark arrows. However, not just dark arrows. Dark arrows reversed because they are a mirror image of these arrows. So this one goes zoop, zoop, and this one's going zoop, zoop. That is the end. There's only like 2 more videos left that I have to make. I finished all the interlocking ones. So I'm just finishing now these mosaic ones. I was trying to keep them kind of like 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, but then I just finished the other ones so that I could have something done and I could feel completion, you know, pat myself on the back. Yay, you did it. So there it is. That's our arrows reversed. And you can keep going. The next is chevron B, and we'll get there till the end. Yay! Thanks for coming, guys. Bye.